Welcome back, everyone. That's right. We're going to take all of this and we're going to turn it into this. Slow cooker style. Let's go. Welcome back. I'm Dave Guerra, U.S. Army veteran, 11 Bravo, This Vet Cooks. And what are we making today? That's right. We're going back to the slow cooker because what are we making? We're going to make some slow cooker sauerkraut and sausage with potatoes and apples. It's going to be fun. All right, let's get started here. Let's get the ingredients going on. So we're going to need, well, let's get the ingredients. What do we need? We need a little of this, a little of that. No, seriously, we need some sauerkraut, sausage, half a pound of red potatoes, Granny Smith apple juice, vegetable broth, brown sugar, salt, and ground black pepper. So what's the first thing we got to do? Well, you see here, I've already chopped up the potatoes, the red potatoes, and the Granny Smith apple to about little 1-inch blocks or 1-inch pieces. Again, you see that it's going to be a lot of work, but hey, that's what we do. So we're going to just make sure you cut them evenly, because don't forget, they're going to be in a slow cooker, so they all need to cook evenly for us. See? So kind of keep them even. All right, so let's get, we're going to cut up the sausage, and it's going to be a good time to go ahead and let's do our picks. Let's do our picks. Let's make this happen. So, but first I got to get this package open. It's the weirdest thing. They give you a tiny little corner to work with, and then you kind of have to pull it apart. So in this case, yeah, it doesn't work. It just wasn't enough room. My thumbs are just, fingers are just too chunky. So you know what? We're not going to do that. So we're going to cut this open. But hey, be careful. If whenever you're using a knife, in this case, I'm using this Cutco sandwich spreader cutter, vegetable cutter. Make sure you cut away. Don't cut towards yourself. Cut away. And once we're in, and we can make it happen. So here we go. Yep. And let's get started. So week 6 already. What do we got? Let's go. Before we go forward, we got to go back. So last week I went 6-8. Putting me at 40 and 38, and that's like a 51.28%. Yeah, I got to bump those numbers up. So let's get started with week 6. Denver at Kansas City, giving this one to the Chiefs. That's Thursday night. All right, let's go to Sunday. The Ravens take on the Titans in London, and it's a London game, so it's an early game. I'm giving this one to the Ravens. The Washington Commanders travel to Atlanta to take on the Falcons, and giving the W to the Falcons. Next game is the Minnesota Vikings traveling to Chicago to take on the Bears, giving this one to the Vikings. All right, next game, that's going to be Seattle at Cincinnati, and I'm going to give it to the Bengals. They'll take the W on that one. All right, next game, San Francisco travels to Cleveland. That's right, San Francisco taking on the Browns, giving it to the Browns. All right, the next game, it's the Battle of I-10 because they're just right down the road from each other. The Saints travel to Houston to take on the Texans. I'm going to give the W to the Texans. They were so close last week. They'll take it this week. All right, the Colts take on the Jaguars, and I'm going to give this one to the Colts. They're on the road, but they get the W. All righty, next is the Carolina Panthers taking on the Miami Dolphins, giving this one to the Dolphins. The Lions take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is going to be a close one, but I'm going to give it to the Lions. Next is the New England Patriots take on the Las Vegas Raiders, giving it to the Patriots. Arizona will travel to Los Angeles, take on the Rams. The Rams are at home. The Rams. That should say Rams. That's who's going to take the W. There it is. There's the Rams. What did I miss? I always miss something here, but either way, Rams got the W. Alrighty, the Eagles take on the Jets. I'm going to give this one to the Eagles. And let's see here. The Giants take on Buffalo in Buffalo. So I'm giving this one to the Bills. And the Monday night game, the least popular game of the week, Cowboys take on the Chargers. I'm giving this one to the Chargers. And taking the week off, only two teams taking the week off. That's Green Bay and Pittsburgh. So those are the picks. All right. So here we are. We've chopped up all of this. Let's move on over to the slow cooker. That's right. Here's what we got. So the basically what we do now is we're going to pour the sauerkraut into the slow cooker. We're going to including all the juice. So here we have the can. We've already opened it, and we're going to go ahead and pour everything into this crock pot. All right, so here we go. Ready to rock and roll. All right, let's go. Any day now. There it is. Careful, don't cut yourself on the edge. And let's go ahead and dump that. See, it kind of all just falls up in one big clump. But, man, I'll tell you one thing. It smells like sauerkraut. If you like the way sauerkraut smells, but, you know, it's great. This is sauerkraut. It's very good. So there it is. So we'll go ahead and spread that out a little bit. Use the spoon here. Lay it all out flat. Let it get all nice and even across this thing. Now, mind you, the crock pot is not on yet. It's not on yet. Okay, so now what's next? Well, the directions say we're going to go ahead and add the sausage, the potatoes, and the apples to the crock pot, slow cooker. All right, so again, it's not on yet. We're going to add that. All right, so here we go. Come on. And yeah. So we're going to go ahead and also add the apple juice here. We're going to add the apple juice, and it's a half a cup of apple juice. I think I kind of skipped that. I was in a hurry, but it is. But don't worry, it's all in the show notes down below. So there we go. Now here's what's this. Watch me carefully. Watch as I pour. I don't know what I just did there. I have no idea, but hey, we'll pick that up. But in the meantime, we'll add a little bit more into the crock pot. All right, so there it is, cleaning it up. I don't know what happened, seriously. Okay, now we're going to add the sausage, potatoes, and apples into the crock pot. Okay, so let's give it a little stir, get that out of the way, spread it out, tap, tap, and let's go. Let's make it happen. I don't know why I'm so slow today, but it must be the weather, because it's really nice fall weather. Hey, look at that. Greens and reds, nice. There you go. Just throw them all in there. Just dump it in there. There we go. All right, that looks good. It's going to be good. And so here we go. Give a little, spread everything out, because we're about to pour down some of the, we're going to add the broth now, and then some of the dry goods here. So the dry ingredients. So first thing it's asking for is the broth. And again, that was half a cup of broth. So we're going to go ahead and get that done. Come on. Again, I don't know why I'm so slow today, but adding that half a cup of broth. There it is. I'm using that Hill Country Fare chicken broth. And so we'll go ahead and get that under control and drop that in there. Now, I'm on a little tight there, but we opened it, and there's like a little seal on the inside. You got to make sure that comes out. So I had a little issue with that, so it kind of broke off in the opening. But we got it. So here we go. Pour in our half a cup. All right, any second now we'll fill up that half a cup. Again, this is broth, so once you open this container, it's got to go in the fridge. It cannot go back on the shelf. So it's fine up until the moment you break the seal. So don't forget that. And I have a funny feeling we'll be using this more throughout the coming months. Hey, there it goes. All the broth's in there. All right, now we're going to do, what are we looking for? Some brown sugar. 1 packed tablespoon of brown sugar is what I'm going to get in there. There it is. And then I'm just going to spread it out all over. Make sure it gets all over the place. There we go. That's it. Just kind of, because it's really packed in, so you want to get as much as you can. And there we go. Come on. That's it. And the last little bit's about to go in. All right. Now, so that's the brown sugar. So we've added the broth and the brown sugar since adding the sausage, potatoes, and apples. And, of course, the sauerkraut with its own juices and the apple juice. Okay. Now, we're going to add salt and pepper. And I do believe the salt is like 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Oh yeah, that was finishing that little tap tap. There's the salt, a little kosher salt. There's never hurts anybody. Go ahead and do that and just throw that in there. All right, now we're going to go for the brown sugar. All right, let's see, a little 1/8 teaspoon of brown sugar. So that's what we've got, and that's what's going on. All right, so we've got everything in there. We've got everything in there. Now we got to give it a stir. We got to mix all the ingredients, make sure that everything kind of just gels and melds and just does its good stuff. And that fermentation from the sauerkraut is kind of doing its magic all over the place. The apples. And folks, one thing I want to share with you, it's sweet. It's sweet. It's going to be sweet because we got sugars from the sauerkraut, the cabbage. We got sugars from the apples. Sugars from the apple juice, and what else? The potatoes, well, starch, sugars, right? And then again, the brown sugar. So yeah, it's going to be sweet there. So just kind of remember that going forward. All right, so there it is. All right, so we stirred it enough. We're good to go. Now we're going to cover it. And hey, make sure those hinges don't, no, we don't want to do that. So be careful. All right, so now we're going to set it on either low for 6 to 7 hours or on high for 3 to 4 hours. Well, at the time I'm setting this up, 4 hours would be dinner time. So we're going to go ahead and set this, turn it on, and set it to high for 4 hours. And then we're going to make sure everything's good, nice, the cords are good. And now 4 hours later, 4 hours later, and we're back, and look, it's steamed up inside, and all that moisture is just bouncing around up inside. Let's take a look inside. Let's see what this looks like after 4 hours. Whoa, there we go. Look at that. Delicious. And we're going to give it a little stir because it does say stir before serving. So we're going to go ahead and mix everything up because don't forget, everything had a chance to settle. So stuff on top's a little dry because all the liquid's gone down, which you see down below. And man, the whole afternoon, those whole 4 hours, I wouldn't know, not the last 3 hours, because the first hour you didn't smell anything, but hours 2, 3, and 4, the whole house smelled awesome. Right? Cabbage and sausage and potatoes and apples. It really did the trick. And for fall, set it and forget it kind of thing. So not too bad. Also, want to just share with you, see what I just did there. On the edge, it's still hot. So don't forget that as the water level goes down, right? Because, well, or it comes up, whatever. But stuff ends up on the side. So it's still hot. And it's up on the side of the crock pot. It's going to be hot. It's going to cook. And it could technically burn, which it did because it dried out. The sauerkraut dried out. So be careful. And we didn't have very much of that, but it was all good. All right, little tappy tap. Let's close it back up and let's get ourselves ready to pour ourselves a hot heaping bowl of the slow cooker sauerkraut and sausage with potatoes and apples. Well, there's our Temptations bowl. I love these square bowls from Temptations. Folks, if you've not seen these, check them out. They're on Temptations. Again, they're not sponsoring me or anything. I just love these bowls. They're pretty cool. But the square bowls, come on. All right, so here we go. Let's go ahead. And I have it set to warm now because the 4 hours has elapsed. So I set it to the warm. And here we go. Let's go ahead and spoon in. Draining off a little bit. Just want to make sure we get some potatoes. Look at that sausage off to the side. Oh, man, it's sticky. It's good. It smells fantastic. Again, you take off that lid and you've got something good going on. And there we go. A little bit more. And another spoonful, because, hey, it's dinner time. Why not, right? There we go. Drop that in there. And, okay, maybe a little more. Either way, because, again, I'm taking pictures, too. Don't forget, I got to take this, and it's part of that intro shot. And there we go. Maybe just a little bit more. I don't know. Yeah, there we go. And look at that. That looks great. Move things around. Get things all nice and neat. And, oh, now we're going to get some broth, some of that. Well, okay, another potato and then some broth. And I think yep, here it comes. Potato and broth. Why not, right? But there it is. Get it nice and juicy. Again, it's fantastic. It tasted great. And you'll see when I pick up, I'm going to go ahead and pick up a potato first so you can see how that looks. So I'll try to get it here a little closer to the camera. And there we go. Fork it, potato, fork the potato. There it is. It's nice, tender, done. And it tasted, now it was still hot. But it tasted great. It was nice and sweet and cooked and delicious. And the sauerkraut all around it, very, very good. Now, okay, so I mentioned all the other flavors, but one flavor. And so in the sausage, I'll pick up this piece of sausage. I was really surprised to find that the apple flavor had kind of gone into it, had gone infused into the sausage. It kind of did that osmosis thing, I guess is what it's called, or reverse osmosis. Anyway, it traded off. Oh, it's like brining, but there we go. It's more like a brine, and the apple flavor really came out in the sausage. Now this was just plain beef sausage, but it was fantastic. It was delicious. Again, a nice fall meal. Hot, delicious, ready to go. I'll zoom in here so you can take a real good look at that. And there it is. See the sausage, the cabbage broke down nicely. The pieces of apple, pretty much gone. They all just kind of disintegrated. Couldn't even find a rind, the peel. So, well, I'm Dave Guerra, and you've got my picks, and this vet cooks.